Hi, my name is A.Torres. I teach Spanish and ballroom dancing at Xavier College Preparatory High School in Palm Desert, California. The tool to which I'll introduce you today is called Quizlet. What is Quizlet? Well, do you remember the times where you had stacks of flashcards, index cards, the rubber bands around them, or a little box? And whenever you had a break or it was time to study, you would take them out and go through and rotate through your flashcards. This is a tool that allows you to do the same thing but with a modern twist. Anything for studying vocabulary to important dates, verb conjugations, times tables. This is applicable to any subject area. I will go ahead and take you now to a different tab so I can show you how to access Quizlet. So in your URL bar, if you type in quizlet.com, you'll get to the Quizlet website. Now, if you don't have an account, you need to sign up. Accounts are free. There's also a paid version with a few more bells and whistles, but the free version is pretty much all you need to get started with the development of study sets or flashcard decks. If you have a Google account, you can sign in with Google as well as Facebook, or you can create an account using any other email type. Now, I already have an account, so I'm just going to go ahead and go to log in. Now, once I log in, I'm going to get to my main dashboard here. I'm going to see from my navigation bar on the left side, I can click on the set of lists of sets that I have for pretty much all of my classes. I am able to set up folders to organize my vocabulary sets based on specific topics. I can also create classrooms and allocate or assign specific study sets to specific classes. When I scroll, I can see just the most recent study sets that I've accessed. Now I'm going to click on Español Uno to give you a quick walkthrough of some of the sets that I've developed. So I'm going to take a look at, I'm going to say, el dormitorio. I'm sorry, los quehaceres de casa. So right off the bat, you can see here the outline of a card. It looks just like a flashcard. If I scroll down, I can take a look at all of my terms. You'll see that I have Spanish on the left, English on the right, and a visual following that. I can go all the way down and you can see that I have 24 terms here that are part of this set. You also have some information like often missed, sometimes missed, never missed. The cool thing about Quizlet is that it tracks to what degree I've learned or mastered the building blocks or vocabulary terms definitions through this specific vocabulary study set. I can click and go through my next one just to practice and take a look at that. I can also click on, so I have access to this just right off the bat from the main page here of this set. When I click on flashcards, I actually have access to some more tools.
To straighten up the room.
You may have heard that spoken automatically.
Arreglar el cuarto.
So one cool thing in my options that I have preset is I want audio on so that whenever there is a term, I want it spoken. In my setup process, I'm able to indicate which section or which column is the English version and which section is in a different language for my context. I have selected here Spanish. So as I navigate through my cards.
To cook. Cocinar. To cook. Cocinar. To cut the lawn. Cortar el césped. To feed the dog. Dar de comer al perro.
You can simply go through your flashcards, hear the term in English and Spanish. You can hear the term and definition. You also have the opportunity to see a diagram and hear descriptions or see descriptions. That's a recent addition to Quizlet. But this is a way for you to cycle through your flashcards. And that is, again, through the flashcard feature. Now, flashcards is the very first activity that is part of the Quizlet built-in activities for student learning. The next tool I'll introduce you to is called Learn. And this activity allows students to we go. Type the answer or
Chores.
select an answer based on question type selected. So you can see here that you can set what you want to answer with. Do you want to answer with Spanish? Do you want to answer with English? Do you want to answer with the term or the definition? What types of questions do you want? I typically like to deactivate the multiple choice. I want my students to practice writing, so I'm going to set it to written questions only.
To sweep the floor.
Okay, so
To set the table.
to set the table, I have no choice but to enter my answer in Spanish.
Clean. Must, should, or ought to. To clean.
I'm going to type this in incorrectly, so it's an AR verb. And it told me that this is incorrect. I said this. The correct answer is this. I can.
Someone must.
So I'm going to keep typing, practicing my Spanish here, practicing my French, my Latin, my German, whatever the context may be. You'll also notice that for this specific language, again, I've set this study set to an English-Spanish set. It includes some of the letters with accent marks, just to the quick shortcut for students. Students may not always be familiar with the key combinations for adding accent marks, so Quizlet actually has these shortcuts built in to help students. So the Learn option allows students to go through and write their answer, select from multiple choice, etc. There's also a spell feature, which I think for language acquisition is pretty important. I clicked on test accidentally. The spell activity allows you to hear a word and then write it or type it, in this case. And it doesn't get more complicated than this. You hear the term, you see the term or the definition in English with a visual, so you have an idea. You can either type it or listen to it.
Quitar el polvo.
And type away exactly what you hear.
Quitar. U-U-I-T-A-R. El polvo.
You can see
Quitar
that
el polvo.
I got it incorrect.
Cocinar.
And I will continue
Barrer el piso.
until I'm comfortable with this vocab set. Each round you can see has 7 out of my 24 vocab terms, and so it'll just continue to cycle through automatically. Lastly, we saw this just a short while ago. We have a test option, and the test typically is defaulted to about 20 questions, and you have different question types for this activity of mini assessment. So you have written, matching, multiple choice, true, false. You can choose whether or not to show images. You can make it just a 10-question mini test quiz, or leave it at the default 20. Make it the entire amount of vocabulary, words, terms that you have in this set. So you can see here, students will be prompted to type answers for this question type. Students have the option of a multiple choice section, or a matching, I'm sorry, followed by a multiple choice, followed by a true, false. Now, I typically have my students do this right before a major assessment. That way I know that they've at least gone through and reviewed the building blocks of language. Some of this will be under assessments, but I tend to have assessments that are more application versus just what do you know, I want to see how you use it. If you're able to demonstrate a 90% or higher the night before your assessment, have students do this. I need to see their image, their total score. I usually would give them an extra bonus point for having done this. This, again, is just a little extra incentive for them to go in and study their vocabulary. You have a few games that are set up here. Matching is pretty neat. Again, it's a built-in game. And all you do is you just drag the term to the image, to the definition, and you can see here that this is pretty easy. And there is a term here somewhere that is behind my little screen here. So I can see that 18.8 seconds is how long it took me to do this. But my best time was 14.4. Now, the great thing about this is I can keep going and going and going, but everybody that's part of this class is also aiming for a best time. So this becomes a competition between students to see who can get the highest score in class. Again, when there's a little bit of motivation and seeing who can come into first place, you're going to have students practice and practice and practice, play, and review the vocabulary along the way. And then the last game here is called Gravity. And it's pretty easy. You can set up different degrees of difficulty, and you can indicate if you want to answer with Spanish or English, if you want to answer with a term or definition. So I'll do a quick example here. So as time goes by and you get more and more correct, the little asteroid starts to come down faster and faster. So it's a race against time. And you just go faster and faster. You get a score. Again, there is a scoreboard, and students really love to challenge one another and see who can get the highest score. You can also activate Quizlet Live, which is one of my favorite features. This allows students to automatically look at the teams, and with their smartphone, they are tasked with playing a series of matching activities, and it's a competition between 2, 3, 4, 5 teams, see who can get first place. Again, this can be done as a good way to wrap up the class after you've practiced to introduce vocabulary. Great way to do a review before an assessment. But again, all of these learning activities are built in with every single set of vocab terms, definitions that are entered into the system. Now, to create a stack, it's pretty easy. To create a set, you would just simply hit create. You would give a title to your set. You can add a description if you so desire. If you have a diagram that you want to be diagrammed and labeled, you can just click and drag that here. I started by making a set for colors. So I typed in verde, green would be the English, and then I have an image here. So I'm going to say morado, which is purple. And when I click on image, it automatically is going to take the words here and auto search images. And so it's an easy process to add vocabulary. I'm going to add, let's go with the yellow. I'm going to go to image. It's going to, there we go. So you just keep adding your cards. Once you're done, you hit save, and there you go. Now, when you save, you have the option to automatically share. You can email this to your students. If you have a listserv, you can automatically just type that in. It'll go to everybody. You can copy the link. You can put this on your LMS. You can also automatically share on Remind or Google Classroom. This is a quick and easy way to get the Quizlet sets into Google Classroom. You just need to make sure you're logged in your browser. You would select the Google Classroom that you want to assign this vocabulary set to. You select it, go, and you are ready to rock and roll. You can also, I'm going to scroll down here. If you have the opportunity to, or the capability to embed, you can also embed this widget. So this specific deck or study set of terms and definitions can be embedded into a website or another LMS tool. You can print these terms. You can combine with another set. You can also customize or further edit. Now, you can also click on this browse up here, and you can take a look at what other teachers, students, other members of Quizlet have developed. I tend to develop all of my sets and then I push those out to my students. That guarantees that they're working on vocabulary that is pertinent to the experience I'm providing to them. Also increases the chances of there being less errors, although I do make errors every once in a while. At least I know that I've vetted the information. And again, you have sets that teachers like you and me, students have made all across the board. This is used for pretty much every subject area. It even spreads to ACT, SAT prep, GRE, MCAT, LSAT, you name it. You can also search for a specific topic, even a curriculum. And for example, my school at one point was using Variedades. By simply typing that and doing a search, you'll be able to take a look and find by level and chapter sets of vocabulary. So again, pretty neat tool. Highly encourage that you practice, that you make use of this tool. Students all have one of these. There's a free app you can download. It's available on Android and iOS. As long as you have access to the internet, any device will be able to get you onto Quizlet and get you practicing your vocabulary. I hope this tool was useful, this presentation was useful, and I wish you well as you take something that is pretty basic, give it a modern twist. Bye-bye.